too organized, but this is very good. You just put this on here. If it was a male, obviously you'd use the female there. And you can either use the extractor, or back at the shop we just use a big screwdriver. So this is what I'm going to use because this is what I'm used to. And get the big persuader out. You want to drive that screwdriver in between the side of the coupling and the expansion ring in there. Do a little bit at a time. Feel it moving there.
Do you do it all in one position, or you move around to different sides?
Just one side.
Okay.
Pop it out. It's good to have a big, long screwdriver like that. And while you got the screwdriver in your hand, you want to take out that little gasket too.
See the gasket, and it's a different size gasket than what we put on the other side of the coupling, correct?
Yeah. This side here, this is a swivel gasket, and this is a tail gasket. And this happens to be a double jacket tail gasket because you got double jacket hose.
Now, can you tell the difference looking at them, whether they're ones?
Yeah.
So maybe you can show us that?
Yeah, we'll grab a couple and show you the difference.
So a tail gasket and a swivel gasket.
They're up on the shelf in different boxes that I've marked.
This one's been there for a while, so it's really crushed.
Okay.
So you always want to use a new gasket. Always change out that flat, smashed out gasket. So we'll grab.
So look up on the ring here. See these, how we have this label? There's 1.5-inch gaskets, there's swivel gaskets, and there's tail gaskets.
Perfect.
George?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I labeled them.
Okay. You can see the difference between the two gaskets. This one's a lot thinner than this one.
The thinner one is a tail gasket?
No, the thinner one is the swivel gasket that goes
okay.
in the female swivel.
Copy.
The double jacket tail gasket goes in the tail, which is also known as the bowl, which is this thing here. This is the bowl or the tail. This is the swivel. Swivel gasket goes in the swivel. Tail gasket goes in the tail.
And tail gasket's a thicker one.
Yep. Tail gasket's thicker. Okay, so we got a new gasket in there.
No secret to putting it in, it just fits in the groove in
Yeah,
there?
it just fits on that little groove in there, the little shelf. Okay, now we want to set our distance to where what's going to happen is we put an expansion ring on here. This is going to expand, and it's going to hit this gasket, and it's going to hold the hose onto the coupling. So let's grab a expansion ring. So what the way we're going to set our distance, I think you guys used to have a caliper here.
We do.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. This will work. What we want to do is we want this ring to hit about. We want this ring to hit about halfway down that gasket right here. We want it to hit about halfway down the gasket.
Can I see it?
Yeah. About halfway down.
Okay, right there. Okay.
And did you see that?
Yeah. Splitting the expansion
Yeah,
ring.
it goes right in between. We want it to hit about halfway down the gasket.
Oh, halfway. Okay.
Yeah.
Copy.
So one way you can do it is using the caliper. And I like to get it up in the light where I can see. And you want to measure this. You want to measure it just past that lip, where that metal lip. You want to measure just past that. That's where the ring is going to hit that gasket. And that's how you measure it. So then you take it over here. And this is a female coupling, so you're going to measure to the back of this collar. If it was a male, you're going to measure to this part of the collar. So this part here goes right on the edge where the expansion rings are gonna hit, and this is how you adjust it. Adjust it till it just hits that collar. Should be right about there.
And is all hose about the same, or does each piece need to be looked at individually?
Different depth.
Well, with all the different couplings you have, it's always good to measure each one.
Each one.
When we do them at the shop, we get new couplings in a big box, and they're all uniform, they're all the same, so we don't have to remeasure. But it's a good idea when you have all these different couplings to go ahead and measure. So the next step is you turn it on, and we're going to put this on here. And sometimes, a lot of times I'll turn it on, I'll expand it just a little bit so this doesn't move around, but this is on there pretty tight, so you really don't have to tighten it anymore. So we set our pressure, we set our distance, and we're going to put, getting ahead of myself.
Gosh, I'm sorry. I know it cuts a little.
Yeah,
Is it
that's
pretty important? We need
crooked.
to get a
Yeah, we need to get a good straight cut.
straight cut.
Yeah. Good eyes, good eyes. Okay.
Actually, can I get another shot?
That's it.
Can I get another
Yeah.
shot? Thanks.
Much better. Okay, so we've got our distance here, we've got our pressure set. Actually, I think it's still set on the 1 inch. So 1.5 inches, we want 1,000 pounds. So let's turn it on.
You hit retract, right?
Retract.
And what do we want?
1,000 pounds. Looks like they've got it stopped.
Locked,
Yeah, which is fine. Okay, now what we're going to do is put
Marty, that's pretty.
the coupling on.
Retracting was much better.
You're too kind.
Okay, so we put the coupling on the hose and make sure that the hose is flat against the inside of the coupling.
And that's before the gasket?
Um,
Or is it halfway with the gasket?
it's
Butts up against that lip in
butts
there.
up against it.
Okay, there you go. That's what I meant.
The halfway down the gasket is only for the okay. So then we put the whole thing over. Make sure it's all the way up against the collar there. Turn it on and hit expand. Then you want to bring it back out, you want to hit retract. And that's all there is to it.
How do you know when to stop pressing when you're expanding there?
It's, when you see this needle stop,
Okay.
you know it's topped out.
All right,
And then you just hit retract to bring it back up.
copy.
And there's a little bit of a lip of that gasket sticking out. That's perfect. You want a little bit of a lip there. That's fine.
Can't really
You
feel
can
it.
see the little squishes of that
Oh yeah,
Gasket.
the
underneath
gasket,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's on there good and tight. That'll never blow off. And that's how quick it is. That's basically it. Let's do a couple and let you guys do it.